Hi, it's Rich Tehrani. I'm here at the VPF Summer 2008 in San Francisco, and I'm very excited to have as my interview guest Michel Veys. So Michel Veys is with JAJAH. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing great. Real pleasure to be with you, Rich.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you for being a guest here on this web program. I'd like to, if I can, ask you a couple questions, and first we should probably start out by telling any of the viewers a little bit more about your company and what you do.
Sure, absolutely. So JAJAH is a global web telephony infrastructure and service provider. What we do is we provide a number of services to our own community of users, and we have now over 10 million users that are using our services in order primarily to make international calls. And we've recently also opened up our platform to telcos as well as cable companies and internet providers who are looking for a way to offer to their consumer base a set of innovative services in a rapid deployment capability. And we offer those services as managed services so that the companies can connect to the JAJAH services and offer them very quickly to their own community. And that's very beneficial for them.
So please do me a favor, define in your own words, what is an innovative service?
Well, for example, it's something that allows the consumer to make calls very easily, in a very convenient fashion, and have very attractive pricing. So one of the things, for example, we do is when I call a colleague or I call family up in Europe, what I will do is I actually will be able to call a local number that then will redirect directly to this colleague or this partner in Europe or in Asia or anywhere in the world, and I will have amazing quality of voice call as well as very attractive pricing. So it's very convenient, it's very easy, you don't have to dial 011, and for many people it actually breaks down that barrier, which makes it so much easier. The other thing that I do personally is at home I'll start in the morning, look at my emails, and then if I need to make a call, I can dial straight from Outlook or I can dial straight from my Mac, you know, without having to look for my cell phone often in the morning, kind of where did I leave it yesterday night. No problem there, I can make that call immediately, and I can schedule the call also in the car. So instead of having to either miss the call because I'm so absorbed in traffic, or just having the problem of quickly looking for the right number to dial, I'll schedule the call ahead of time. And by the time I'm in the car, so I'll schedule the call for about 15 minutes, let's say after I've left the house, I'll get the call and I just can immediately start my conference call without having to dial, without having to do anything. Don't miss any calls anymore, and it's extremely convenient.
That's great. So those 10 million users that you referenced earlier, they're primarily VoIP users?
Yes. So effectively, well, depending how you define VoIP, right? The beauty of the JAJAH system is you actually make calls directly from your cell phone or from the landline. Now it will go over the internet, you know, over our own leased lines actually. But so we will use the VoIP technology. But from a user perspective, you use your own cell phone or landline, and what that also means is that from a carrier perspective, you know, those minutes will go through the carrier.
Right.
And that's a major difference. You know, you don't actually need to download any software, you don't need to have any special hardware, you don't need to be in front of your PC in order to talk,
right.
You don't need to have a headphone, you don't need any of this.
Right.
You can make it right there and then from your cell phone.
Fantastic. So you have an offering for service providers and carriers, and so how do these products that we just discussed fit into the portfolio of what a service provider is offering?
Excellent question there. What we did recently is that we've been in contact with so many carriers and cable companies and service providers that we actually did a little survey with about 15 of the very large carriers, both in the US and in Europe, to try to understand what their pain points were and what they saw as opportunities. And two of the major pain points that they actually brought up were, one, the loss of landline revenue, because there's so many users that are not either disconnecting their landlines or just not signing up anymore. Just as an example, some of the major carriers lose as many as 500,000 user subscribers per quarter. So it's huge. That's a major threat for them. And the other concern is really what's happening in the IP field and how they can compete there. Now they see as opportunity the IP-based applications and as well as international markets. Because a lot of the carriers are really fairly domestic. They may have a number of countries, but not that many have a very large number of countries that they're active in. Whereas JAJAH is actually active in over 120 countries. So what we can do for those carriers is we can make available to them not only the set of services, the innovative services that I described before, for example, on the front end, we can also make available all of the back-end platform. If you go, just as an example, if you go internationally and you offer your services in a different country, it's most likely that you will have to provide a different payment mechanism. Right? Because there'll be local debit and credit cards and local payment types. So you'll have to open up your platform to that. You also will have different fraud because the patterns are different.